Obviously, illegal migration is not as much of a problem as the actual legal migration in terms of pure numbers. However, I wanted to cover just how much the native Britons' noses are being rubbed in our own sort of displacement, I suppose, in the most insulting and demeaning way possible. And I would argue that things are entirely deliberate. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know whether you share the same opinion, that our elites just want to destroy what's left of British society and our culture to turn us into these sort of atomised units whereby we're more easily exploited, so we can be more easily extracted, all of our resources can be extracted, sorry. So yes, there is an easy solution to this problem. It's not like it's difficult, like we keep on hearing, because of course, as I covered in the last weekend segment, Italy have basically just said, yes, no fighting age men, please, just women and children. So yes, it's that easy. You just say no.
It really is. I hate to brag, but I mean, yes, the policy works, is all I'm saying.
Callum did come up with it before. You're basically a policy advisor for the Italian government now.
I might go visit. Just see if I can get a meeting with Maloney and be like, hello.
You're going to be like Caesar returning from like a raid in Gaul. You're going to be having a triumph.
She's Caesar. She's definitely Caesar, yeah.
Okay. But yes, what I wanted to talk about more specifically, which is obviously in the title, is this next story, which is just ridiculous. I couldn't believe what I was reading. So it's titled, Convicted Albanian Murderer Who Was Held at Manston Processing Centre for 3 weeks before being jailed for entering UK illegally is still allowed to continue his asylum application.
Hang on, so we know he's a murderer.
Yes.
He applied for asylum, and we've gone, you're a murderer. Anyway, fill out the rest of the form, and we'll look at it.
We don't have enough murderers. You know what? You're filling a niche. We need you. Murderers are sorely underrepresented in society. So
is the Home Office actually brain dead? No, I think you're right. They're really trying to destroy this place.
So the Daily Mail article reads, Mariglin Shoshari, 31, arrived in Kent in October. Arrived in Kent in October after the small boat he was crossing in was intercepted by authorities. He had been convicted of murder and firearm offences in Greece in 2012 and had been given an 18-and-a-half-year sentence. Shoshari...
Right, hang on, so that tells us a number of things. So what was he doing in Greece with firearms killing people as an Albanian?
I think he might be a criminal. Well, obviously he's a criminal, but like the organised kind.
Yes, I think he might be part of, Albania's greatest export, which criminal the Albanians in the chat will agree, unfortunately.
So it carries on to say, Shoshari was brought ashore. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Shoshari was brought ashore. Never mind.
He was selling seashells by the seashore, was he?
If he was, he wouldn't be so much of a problem. And taken to the former Ministry of Defence site in Thanet, which has been turned into an asylum seeker processing centre. On the processing form he filled in, he admitted his previous crimes and was charged with entering the UK illegally and yesterday jailed for 60 days. So he may be a murderer, but at least he's honest.
I've just got that Punisher scene in my head where he's sat there like, I loved it, I'll do it again!
I just love murder. On it, Shoshari, of no fixed address. I don't know why they felt the need to include that. Of course.
Really?
He's in a migrant processing centre, but he's of no fixed address.
This is the Daily Mail standard. They always put the age as well.
Told authorities of the murder and jail sentence. So, you've got to commend him for his honesty, not so much the murder.
I like the blood.
As a result of what he admitted on the questionnaire, immigration authorities charged him with arriving in the UK without valid entry clearance. After 23 days...
Not murder, not extradition to Greece to face trial.
No. Sorry, mate, your biggest crime isn't murder, it's breaking into the UK. If only.
To be fair, I do agree that murdering a Greek and breaking into the UK, one is a worse crime.
It carries on to say, after 23 days in immigration detention, Shoshari appeared at Folkestone Magistrates Court on Wednesday and pleaded guilty to the offence. Who'd have thought? The offence that he brought up, he pleaded guilty to.
Look at the brass balls on the man, though.
He just knows that he doesn't even have to hide it.
No.
He's just like, yeah, well, if I go back to Greece, I'm going to go to prison, so you can't get rid of me.
Maybe he's humble bragging. I don't know. I know the Albanians and the Greeks have their disputes over the territory, so maybe
Yeah, the last immigration detention centre I was in. Do you know what happened?
He's bragging he's doing his bit of a Northern Ypres or whatever. I don't know. Maybe the Albanians are they're weird, so...
After 23 days in immigration detention... I've said that bit. Julie Fabre, prosecuting, told magistrates Shoshari had arrived on a small vessel on October 10th with others and was taken to Manstone for processing. She added he was brought to shore and it was confirmed he was an Albanian national. Chairman of the bench, Mark Tucker, asked the prosecutor why others on the same boat had not been charged with the same offence of entering the UK illegally, which is a perfectly valid question as far as I'm concerned.
I assume they had?
No.
What?
So they only brought this charge forward because he was a murderer.
So anyone who breaks into this country is committing an offence. The Home Office know it. The Home Office personally detain them and then don't charge them with a crime.
Yes. Can you see why I think they're complicit in it now? Miss Fabres replied, everyone on the boat could be charged with the offence, but it doesn't happen at the moment, but it could happen in the future.
We could charge every rapist with rape, but I don't know. I don't feel like it. Like, we know he's raped. We've got him at the Home Office, but we don't feel like arresting it. Oh, wait, no, that happens at Rotherham.
Yeah, we can't even do good. We can't even do good satire anymore because it's just real. Whatever we say to mock this.
I was really doing that as like a bit, and then I just oh no.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But anyway, the court also heard Shoshari applied for asylum in this country on October 12, 2 days after his arrival, and his application would continue. Magistrates decided to jail Shoshari for 60 days for the offence and ordered he pay a victim surcharge of £154 after his release. I don't know how he's going to get that £154.
Is that going to the British or the Greek man? I don't
know.
I mean, it's clearly we've got precedents, but like...
Yeah. But to add to my case that this is all deliberate, this next article by GB News, British and French authorities colluding in Channel to bring migrants to UK shores, leaked recordings reveal. And this is recent news that, yes.
Oh my God, I am shook. It's not like Nigel Farage went out there and filmed it. There's video footage of them handing it over.
But just in case you didn't know already.
It is good to have an admission.
The British government vessels and French Navy ships are secretly working with each other in the Channel in order to provide handovers of traffickers who are bringing migrants into the UK. Recordings from Sunday obtained by Mail Online have revealed the level of collusion between officers and captains. In the recordings, the French warships and France's maritime police contacted the border force and arranged the handover of boats carrying migrants off the coast of Kent. So it's almost like a Channel drug deal, isn't it?
Ironically, I mean, we look at this image of these two officials here, and the only thing that goes through our mind is how many people are on the payroll of the people smugglers. I mean, in Serbia, I spoke to a guy about this, and he said that, like, the police are being paid.
Of course,
like, he couldn't prove it for sure, but he was like, there's no way, like, the organised people smugglers are not just paying off the police. And everyone goes, well, yeah, of course, it's Serbia, of course that's happening. But in Britain, we go, of course that's not happening.
Obviously, lots of palms are being greased here, but at the expense of the British people.
I don't know what to say. Like, what other possible reason is there for this going on other than everyone involved seems to be getting paid?
Yeah,
of course. Why else would they be doing it?
And just to highlight what impact this is having, this was recently, more than 2,000 migrants crossed the Channel in just 72 hours. So in 3 days, there were 2,000 people coming across the Channel. That's basically an invasion. I'm pretty sure in the time of the Danelaw, it wasn't even that many in such a short period of time.
How many did Caesar bring out of interest? Give me a minute.
About 10,000, I think. Something in that magnitude. Maybe even 100,000.
7,000 to 10,000.
Okay, it was about...
So we've had 44,000 this year alone.
The Roman invasion of Britain, the first one.
4 Caesars.
4 Caesars worth of invasion.
And that's the high estimate.
Great. So yes, and if we go on to the next one, just this year alone, 2022, 42,000. So yes, unfortunately. And I think this is a good moment to bring up another thing that hates Britain, which is the New York Times. And here we have an article. Why does the New York Times hate Britain? From Guy Birchall, who is a very good writer. And I very much suggest you check out this article, which is on the website for free if you want to read it. If you're in the spirit of people hating Britain. I don't know why you would be, but check it out anyway. So,
it's all the Anglophobes in the chat.
I'm sure there's a few.
Yeah. Just checking how many of the Normans brought as well.
I'm sure our current invasion is going to be the worst one, right? But to go on to the impact on British people, this article's all the way from 2015, and it says, migrants will get half of new homes built over the next 5 years. Report says nearly 100,000 properties a year are needed to cope with the demand. So yes, it seems like even, 7 years ago, it was already a severe problem, and it's only got worse and worse. And of course, the topic of property is very important because a third of all donations to the Conservative Party, the party in government since 2010, come from property developers. And so they both have an incentive to keep the price of property high, as it's lucrative for both of them because the property developers make more money and the Conservatives get more donations. So yes, good for them. Ordinary people are the ones that lose. So one thing that I actually noticed this morning that was reported on very recently is this next story from the Daily Mail. Thousands of asylum seekers will be housed in rural areas in a bid to ensure fairness and spread the numbers out across the country. Oh, yeah. So they're not even localising them to cities anymore. You can't escape. There are going to be asylum seekers in every corner of the countryside as well. Every hedgerow you look in, there's going to be an Albanian man sneaking about. Who knows? But yes, this so-called policy to ensure this policy to ensure fairness. I guess we're spreading them out, but why would that be fair? I mean, why do you need to spread them out? Is it possibly because there might be some negative side effects of having lots of asylum seekers in one place?
So Robert here's the new immigration minister, and he seems to be a complete idiot.
Yes.
This has been tried in multiple countries. The worst case example was in Sweden, where in one case they sent 300 migrants to a village of 200 people.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that went well.
Yeah, the village is no longer there.
Well, of course.
But side note, by the way, so we have about 5 times the Norman invasion force this year alone that have come in. There you are. Funnily enough, in here as well, the Normans are like, the English, they turned up with 1 million men, apparently. That's just not true, obviously. It's nowhere near that big. But
the thing is, one of the things that held back the Normans was our series of castles, and we've not even got those anymore.
So this is 4 times Caesar's invasion force and 5 times the Norman invasion.
Mm-hmm. And we've got no castles to defend ourselves anymore.
No.
What's going on? So, here's another story which I found really frustrating. This next one from the Daily Mail again, sorry. Family of 8 forced to move out of their home are living in 2 houses separated by dual carriageway after council failed to find a property big enough to squeeze them all in. So, John, if you could scroll down and show us the size of the family. There they are.
Okay.
So they're getting 2 free houses, and they've got the gall to be like, well, sorry, they're not close enough together. You've come to this country, you're not doing anything apparently, you're living in council houses.
I want to throw this laptop through that screen.
And they're complaining about having a nice pair of semi-detached houses in Birmingham as well. Like, yes, clearly racism in Birmingham, that city that's basically been colonised by...
Please tell me at least these people are from Afghanistan or something.
It doesn't actually say where they're from.
Because if they're from Bangladesh or somewhere else where there isn't a war, I'm going to lose it.
It doesn't say where they've come from, but it...
You get 2 houses.
Oh.
2 friggin' houses.
Yeah, 2 houses, still not happy. I don't have a house. I'm living in an apartment. Where's my free house, eh?
No, like, none of the young in this country can afford a house. And it's just these people got 2. But, I have to pop out and go see my other kid or the other house. Oh, it's a real it sounds like something an aristocrat would say.
Mm-hmm. I've got to cross the road. I mean, it is a dual carriageway, which isn't the easiest thing to cross in the world, but...
I don't really care.
You still get 2 houses.
So I've got to walk across the whole field to my second house.
What's the phrase again? Beggars can't be choosers? I think that applies here.
Well, they can.
Apparently they can, yes. Beggars can have 2 homes, apparently. So, here's another frustrating story. Family of Awab Ishaq, killed by mould in Rochdale flat, says racism played a part in his death. This is obviously, death of a 2-year-old boy, obviously terrible. Definitely don't approve of that. But
so how did this happen?
So, they moved into this council house, and the pictures are pretty horrific. Like, it does look really mouldy and gross. And more or less what the...
Pretty sure it's illegal to keep a council house to that standard.
Yes, it's not great. However, there are lots of complications to this that make it a sort of unusual case in that the boy that died seemed to have an allergy to the mould.
Okay.
And that went undiagnosed when he originally went to seek medical treatment, and then he returned home, and then the next day he died, which is obviously tragic. And there's a series of mistakes both in the health service and in the council that this house is being lent out. However, to suggest it's racism, that we've got a housing crisis and we found a home and it's really bad. I mean, you're in Rochdale as well, where, certainly known for its immigration, isn't it?
I'm just wondering why not a hotel? I mean, we seem to have every hotel in the country under lock and key by the Home Office at this point. But...
So, I'm reading from the article here. The family accused the Housing Association of racism, saying they have no doubt at all that they were treated in this way because they were not from this country. Yeah, because you got a free house.
Hang on,
if you're from this country...
Are they here? She's not here for work, presumably.
I don't know.
Why did they get the house?
But, yes, it carries on to say, Rochdale borough-wide housing, we have a message for you. Stop discriminating, stop being racist, stop providing unfair treatment to people coming from abroad who are refugees or asylum seekers. Stop housing people in your homes you know are unfit for human habitation. Or you could have stopped that sentence there and just say, stop housing people in your homes. But yes.
But it's true. Like, there are council houses that look like this, and it's ridiculous. And the thing is, lady, it's not because you're black. I presume she's black. Because the thing is,
they are.
I've seen plenty of documentaries or people complaining on YouTube videos of people in council houses. They're just covered in mold, and they've been told to go wait a year.
But
so it's officially not for human habitation, but they still have to wait. And guess what? They're white.
What you can tell from some of these pictures, if you just scroll about a bit, John, to show some of the pictures of the house, I think maybe you need to go up a bit. There we go. It does seem like they haven't done anything to try and combat it. I mean, I've had mold I was a student for 4 years, so in student housing, it's kind of expected that you get mold. And believe it or not, it can be cured. In this case, you can cure racism for £1.35, because I found on Amazon, mold and mildew remover, £1.35. So here you go. You could do something to actually help, but it doesn't seem like they actually did anything to help their situation. They just got the house and seemingly just complained about it after the fact, after their son died. Surely you should have, if nothing was being done at the council level, you could have, got rid of the mold yourself.
Yeah, that is also something that's a routine problem. I remember the migrants complaining in a hotel that they live like animals because no one comes in and cleans up after them. These are two adult men in their 30s. You just sort of look at them and think, are you an idiot?
Well, lots of these, obviously that's a particularly bad case, but something could have still been done. And although I don't think people should have been living in a house that mouldy.
No, yeah, many of the councils are just utterly corrupt in this circumstance. It's a not uncommon occurrence. I've seen plenty of videos, but guess what? It's not racism. This happens to white people in this country as well. They get stuck with houses that are covered in mold. They've got no choice.
When I was at university, I had a case where I went to my window to pull my blinds down. I pulled it, and then the entire ceiling collapsed on my head. I mean, surely that's pretty bad. I was fine.
What do you mean the whole ceiling?
As in, I pulled it, and where the fixture was on the ceiling, whilst I was pulling down the blinds, all of the plaster up until the wooden part just fell down. It wasn't very hard because it was plaster.
All right.
It was just a bit of a shock that ceiling was falling on my head when I was trying to open up the room to some light. But yeah, anyone who's lived in either council housing, student housing, knows that it's not exactly very nice. And I don't think they considered my race when they built the house and made it poor quality.
Yeah, they barely give a crap about anyone. The idea your race as a factor is just comical. But again, it's horrible the kid died, but it's just not your race, lady.
Yeah. So things have gotten so bad with the foreign migrants that they're having to build women's only housing. So yes. So I know. This is the only way we can keep our women safe, is that if we keep out all of these rapey foreign men who have no...
Is it Ukrainian men that are doing this? Is it people fleeing an actual war?
I don't think it is.
Oh, funny.
I think Ukrainian men understand that you don't do these sorts of things.
There was a story, I don't know, we went over it. I don't know how long ago it was now. There were a few Ukrainian women, and they got to Poland, and then they decided to go to Germany, because it's like, well, there's loads of people in Poland, it's overwhelmed. Also, Germany's richer. Of course, right, okay. So they go to Poland, and then they go to Germany, and they're legitimate refugees. They're women fleeing the start of the war. And they went to the government put them in a house. They put them in a house alongside loads of men who were not fleeing war, and they raped them. So they fled the Ukrainian war, and they ended up with,
Same thing happened to a woman in Italy, didn't? I think Giorgia Meloni, who we mentioned earlier, tweeted out that a Ukrainian refugee took refuge in Italy only to be raped by an African migrant who wasn't fleeing war. They were North African. I don't think there are any wars in North Africa.
The rapist isn't fleeing injustice; he's bringing injustice.
But yeah, this only goes to reinforce my point that the people who are in control of this can stop it immediately if they want to, but they don't, because it's to their advantage to demoralise us. They make too much money out of it. That's why it's going on. They just hate this country. They hate us. They want to make money out of us.
Until the money dries up, no one's going to stop it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, and I thought it would be useful to bring attention to it, however depressing it might be.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium videos we do, this one on the politics and philosophy of Mass Effect. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.